If there was ever a king who let power, jealousy, and straight-up madness ruin him, it was King Saul. I always say, when you refuse to humble yourself, life will humble you same way. And Saul? He got humbled in the worst possible way, by his own mind, his own choices, and, let's be real, some serious Duppy business. Saul was Israel's first king, handpicked by God and anointed by the prophet Samuel. At first, he was humble, hiding when they called him to be king, acting like he never even wanted the job. But you see, power is a funny thing. It can either build you up or twist you into something unrecognizable. And for Saul, it was the latter. He started off strong, leading Israel into battle, winning wars, and being the big man in charge. But then he got hard ears and disobedient. When God told him to destroy everything in a certain battle, he decided to keep the best spoils and move like he knew better than God. From that moment, things started to go downhill. Now, let me tell you something. When God steps back, all kind of things can step in. The Bible says, an evil spirit from the Lord troubled him. 1 Samuel 16, verse 14. In other words, Saul started acting mad. 1 minute, he was sitting on his throne. The next minute, he was in a rage, flinging spears at people like he was in an Olympic javelin competition. The biggest victim of Saul's madness? David. Poor David never did him a thing, but Saul became obsessed with him. Imagine this. David was just a young shepherd boy, playing the harp to soothe Saul whenever the spirit tormented him. And still, Saul wanted to kill him. 1 minute, Saul loved David. The next, he was hunting him down like a wild animal. Now, let me tell you, Saul went from bad to worse. After years of madness, jealousy, and losing the favor of God, he found himself in a desperate situation. He was about to go to war, and God had stopped answering him. No visions, no prophets, no messages. So what did Saul do? Instead of repenting and humbling himself, he went to a woman who worked OB. Yes, the witch of Endor. Saul, the same man who had banned all spirit workers from Israel, disguised himself and snuck over to the woman's place to call up the dead prophet Samuel. Now, let's pause right there. You ever hear when Jamaicans say, "You wake up the Duppy, now deal with the consequence"? Well, that's exactly what happened. When Samuel's spirit actually appeared, even the witch herself got frightened. And Samuel? He never came with any sweet words. He straight up told Saul that he and his sons would be dead by tomorrow. Imagine that. You go wake up Duppy for advice, and all him tell you is, "You dead by morning, me can't help you." Long story short, Saul lost the battle, lost his sons, and in the end, took his own life. A king who started with so much potential ended in disgrace, all because he couldn't listen, couldn't humble himself, and couldn't stop messing with things he had no business touching. If he had just humbled himself, maybe history would have been different. But instead, he went from being a king to being a madman, to being a Duppy summoner. And all for nothing. Moral of the story? Stay out of Duppy business, and don't let pride drive you mad.